Hello everybody, this is Brittney and Byron, and you're listening to Dirty Laundry with B&B, a podcast about real, relatable relationships.
Transparency at its finest, we air it out and clear it up, offering couples and those seeking healthy relationships a safe, inclusive space to open the vents and find resolve.
Hello, Dirty Laundry listeners.
What's up, people?
We hope you guys are having a great week this week. How you doing, B?
Doing great. You know we here in season 3.
I know. Now we're like on episode 2 here, diving into season 3.
Yeah, it feels good. So for season 3, we're so excited, as we had stated on our first episode of this season, how we have so many new guests coming on the line with us. And today, fortunately, we have our first couple on with us.
That's right. And you have to introduce them because you were on his podcast as well. So you've got to introduce him and his wife and, kind of go from there so they can, know more about him.
Absolutely. All right. So on today, y'all, we have a couple who knows a thing or two about prioritizing, juggling love in life and a whole lot of laundry. All right. So we have Myer and Tiana here, and they're raising 5 kids, showing up for being with their community and somehow still making time for each other. We're diving into priorities, what matters most when life is full. And we've got a fun at-home exercise that you and your spouse can try at home also. So Myer is not only a dedicated husband and a full-time dad, he's also the creator of the Here for the Dads podcast, as you've already mentioned, a safe space where dads can find support, humor, and community. So grab your partner, your coffee, all right, and then maybe a calendar because it's going to be a good one. All right, so let's get through. Oh, yeah, we got our coffee, too. Cheers.
That we do have our coffee. Cheers. Hey. So welcome, Myer and Tiana, to Dirty Laundry.
Thank you for having us.
Babies are sleeping. We are happy, guys. We are happy to be here.
Yeah, anytime the kids are sleeping, you're happy, right? That means you get some time to yourself, so we get that.
Yes.
Yeah, later in life, you got to substitute the naps with video games. That's what our kids are doing right now. So we feel bad, but hey, you got to do what you got to do.
We had one that was begging to do his video game instead of nap time, but we persisted.
You got to do what you got to do, right?
Yes.
We get it. Well, we thank you guys so much for coming on Dirty Laundry. And one of our favorite questions to ask every couple that comes on before we dive in is tell us your love story. Tell us how you guys met.
You want to do that one?
You can do it.
All right, cool. I'm going to start off with saying she was playing hard to get. This was almost 10, 12, almost 13 years ago now.
Yeah, we met in 2013.
Yeah, so I went to school for football, and that was the only thing I really cared about. I went to United States Naval Academy. Of course, you would think I'd be thinking about my commitment, but all I really wanted to do was play football. But when I graduated, I left with a diploma and a wife. And this is how it happened.
There you go.
I was coming back from a football game. We were on the bus on the way back, and I remember seeing this chocolate piece of Georgia peach. I don't even know.
And we ain't talking about candy. We're not talking about candy, I assume. Okay, here we go.
And you were, I wasn't a football player. I was a normal midshipman. And we had to walk to and from football games.
And I seen her, y'all, out the window, and I was like, I pretty much asked everybody on the football team, who is that? And how do I do it? Now, everybody told me that this would not be an easy feat. And for the next entire year, everything they said came true. It was not an easy feat at all. But what I ended up doing that worked was I met her in her Bible study, and she couldn't refuse me there.
Oh, my God.
Bible study worked. I was there every Wednesday night. By the time my birthday came around, she met me on my birthday, bought me a cupcake, and then that's all she wrote. Yeah.
That's all
I love that. That's great.
We were friends first. Yeah, we were definitely friends first. We shared an English class, and that's kind of how we were able to actually get from the friend zone into, she challenged us. That professor, she would have a prompt every single class, and then you have to share with your neighbor. There was always somebody sitting in between us, but
guys, I was definitely friend zoned within that first
you were
that first half semester. There was a guy named Bubba, and Bubba would always be in between us.
We love Bubba.
We love Bubba. Bubba thought he was helping. Bubba was not helping. He thought he was putting me on. He needed to get out the way.
Right.
Well, he was an underclassman, and so for a while it was kind of like he was off limits because that was a rule at the school. But time went on, I was able to see his heart, get to know him, and then it was like, oh, this might be more than just a friend. So
I wasn't the bad jock she thought I was. So
no. Well, you started talking to me like, "Hey, yo, ma."
Yeah. So I probably shouldn't have started
that was
I'm from Durham, North Carolina, and I should have upped the game, but I had to learn.
Yeah, I shut it all the way down because
Hold up. First off, yeah.
I
I
love
got
it.
better guys.
Yeah, but
That's
here
right.
we are, 5 kids. We're almost at 9 years married.
I thought you were gonna say almost at 9 kids. Girl, I almost died.
Ooh.
5 kids.
No time for that.
Good.
Yeah, so we've been married almost 9 years. And yeah, it's kind of our story.
Yeah, I
That's
love
amazing.
it.
Yeah.
Yes.
First off, everyone needs a Bubba in their life, okay? Because sometimes it's all about timing. You know what I mean? You weren't ready yet because you was coming in with the hey yo ma. Maybe we need a Bubba a little bit longer, but no, that's amazing. No, thank y'all so much for that. So it sounds like to me, Myer, so you came in with the expectation, right, to just play football. So you had a certain type of priority in life, and those priorities changed throughout your course in college. As you stated, you came back with a wife and a diploma, right? So can y'all just talk about how priorities had changed and how your process of prioritizing has changed from the time y'all first met to now having 5 children? What does that look like?
I think for me, as a man, in college, I was becoming the man, right? So there wasn't a whole lot of priorities because I didn't have a whole lot of responsibilities. It was like I was focused on one thing, and it was football. Everything else was how do I play football? It was how do I ensure that this happens? So grades fell in, making sure I was doing what I was supposed to in the hall, but it was all because football was my responsibility, and football is what I cared about. And then as I became the man that I am today and started taking on other responsibilities, a wife, kids, house, bills, I had to start racking and stacking those things and really understanding even what self-care could do for me. So now that I look at my priorities is not only how I can support myself and my lifestyle, but how I can support my family and their lifestyles and what they want and need to do too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think beginning of our relationship, I was already commissioned, so I was already like I was on a ship deployed, and so my priorities shifted before yours shifted, and then we got married, and it was like, oh, I'm supposed to be a wife now, not just going after my career, going after money, and making sure that the commitment that I had to the military was one of my only commitments. And then we got married, and again, life started fast for us. We had our first within the first year of marriage. We got married, and then we had our first 9 months later, but it was kind of like my priority shifted from career focus to immediately wife, and then I had a little bit time of being a wife, and then boom, here comes a mom. But I feel like priorities shift just based on the season of life that you're in. As we were coming up and growing up, in our marriage, we were like, okay, well, this is fun. And then you hit a block where sometimes your priorities aren't fun anymore, but you still have to push through those, and you have to learn how to still make the main thing the main thing. And I feel like now that's a constant reminder for myself, like no matter how fun it is, raising these children or washing the dishes or keeping a clean house, it's not all the time fun, but it's still something that's important to us and a priority that we have to make.
Yeah. And there's definitely levels to it. And when I say levels to it, both of us being in the military at the same time and then switching in and out, it would go from supporting and supported. So it's like, okay, mom is in the military. She's about to go on deployment, but she's finishing up her master's class. I might need to shift to the supporting role to make sure she feels supported and getting this done. And then when she's done in this hard season, we shift again, and now we're shifting to the supporting supporters. I hope that makes sense for people who are not military, but that's something that we use a lot with that operation. So
yeah, I think that a lot of people, especially in today's society, can relate to that because what I'm hearing from you all saying is like the shifting of roles, and we talk about that a lot on our podcast of like how you can't define what a specific role is for a specific spouse in any relationship because those things are going to change based on, like you said, Tiana, by the season. And first, I want to say also thank you for your service.
Yes,
right?
thank you both.
I did not
Thank
realize that
y'all.
both
Yeah,
of y'all
y'all
were in the
too.
service. That's awesome.
One and the same. Y'all understand it too.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Actually, everything you're saying, we understand because we were both active at the same time and I separated and, B's still in. But
Yeah.
what I wanted to ask, because I feel all of that as you're talking, Tiana, I'm like, I feel it in my soul. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
How do you prioritize each other while you're in the process of obviously building your family? You're obviously at 5 now, but in those moments, how were you making each other a priority? Were you taking the time to date and still continue to, make each other feel important?
Yeah, I think there was a time when we were intentional about, okay, 2 dates a month, one inside the house, and then one we would get a sitter and go outside the house. So we would leave the home. So something like that, or shifting to even right now, I would stay up a little bit later. So once the kids go to sleep, instead of me climbing into bed and, getting ready for the newborn to wake up, it's like, okay, I come downstairs and I make intentional time to sit and check in with him. Or it'll be something like just simply going on a walk. Or I'll ask him, hey, can you come to a school drop off with me? Let's drop the kids off. Once they're done, yeah, it's 20 minutes. So it's finding small pockets of time to not only do what I want to do, but to do something that I know will fill his love tank as well. That's for me.
Yeah, and I think quality time is very high up there for both of us. So we can definitely feel when we haven't been spending time together. It's like we're going through that daily grind of getting things done, and the routine is down packed, and the schedule looks good. And then after like 2 weeks, you realize that you saw something on the calendar, you didn't even ask how it went, and you start feeling like a little bit more disconnected. And as that time gathers, when you two are just honestly playing roommate essentially, and make sure the kids are good, but y'all are not good, you have to find a way to like recenter. And we went a good almost a year or almost two after going to Guam, where we didn't go on a date or be separated from the kids at all. And that was a very, very rough time. And that's when she was talking about making sure when we got back, we went on an internal date and an external date. And that made a huge change in our relationship and making sure that we can always come back to center when the seasons change.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, you know what I love is like an internal date. Like I love that name because I don't think people do that enough. I feel like we learned that during COVID. And I see people say, well, a date is we're just watching Netflix. No,
Come
like
on.
make a real date. Like
Well,
sit down and have a real date at home.
look, now y'all about to experience conflict in our house, okay? Because I was gonna,
You would.
I was gonna say that. Can we please change what qualifies as a date? Like, why
Okay, we
isn't
can.
it okay for us to be at the house and just do this?
100%.
This to me is a double date.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we're talking, we're communicating, we're hanging out with other adults, and we're talking about real things that are going on in our relationship. So I think that we've got to start recalibrating our minds. And I'm using the word recalibrate because I want to segue into what y'all talked about also. It's like the recenter. That is amazing to me because I think that's why a lot of couples separate and they continue to grow away from each other because they forget to say, first, identify, hey, we're going away from each other.
Yeah.
We're not communicating with one another. We're starting to feel like roommates, as you said, Myer. Now let's bring it back in. Let's recalibrate and let's talk about how we can make those things better. And so I like how y'all identified that and said, you know what, to fix it, we're going to do one date, a real date, okay, inside the house and a date outside the house too.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. That's really awesome.
That's awesome. Okay, so the next question is, if you do start feeling misaligned, how do y'all communicate? What does that look like when your priorities aren't really meshing? What is that communication?
She's laughing because we were talking about this earlier today. I always know when it's coming because she will start the sentence with like,
I feel like.
I just feel like, and I was like, oh God.
Yeah, here we go again.
Or I'll hit him with a, can you just.
And I'm just like, okay. But what I do enjoy, because there was a point in time like early in our marriage where we just wouldn't say anything at all. Like, because either you don't want to mess up the peace and bring up something that you're feeling, but because you think things are going well, but in all actuality, they're not going well, because on the inside of you, there's something that's missing, there's something that's burning, there's a part that's not being connected. So I enjoy the fact that my wife will actually say like, I just feel like you're making football practice the priority, and we haven't talked about how we're going to get these things done in the house. And I'm sorry, you're right. Like I have to sit down and be, you're right. And to be honest, when I say you're right, it doesn't come as soon as she says it. It takes processing time. Like the first thing I do is I'm going towards confrontation. I get all defensive. And normally I spend some time during that evening to think about it. Or I'm speaking to like my best friend Vad, and I'll say, like, hey man, she's tripping on this, and that. He's like, yeah, she might be tripping on how she said it, but like have y'all done? I'm like, yeah, okay. Right. So then the next day, or once I start to get a little bit more curious rather than being confrontational, I get to the point of recognizing, okay, she's telling me our priorities have not been aligned. So how do we get back to that spot? So I appreciate the communication. I'm sometimes slow at doing it. I usually write all my things down, or she can kind of see the priorities, because for me, I'm like future operations. She's like right now operations. So I've said what it's going to look like in January. I said, hey, baby, January all the way to March, I'm yours. We're doing birthdays, we're doing this, and that. Right after that, I'm moving into here for the dad season. It's going to be busy all the way until football season. When football season starts, football going to be on TV. I'm be at practice, but I'm stopping.
That's right.
I'm laying the whole thing down, so I don't really need to me in my head, I don't think I need to say it again. It's just a reminder. But for her, she will definitely tell me when I'm out of alignment of what I promised her that we would do. So sorry, long answer, but that's how it is.
But he says something often. You can be curious and also, what's the other thing? Confrontational. You can approach something that you're a misalignment with priorities without being confrontational. But one of them has to lead. Yeah. Either you can be confrontational and know that the conversation is going to end pretty much right there, or I can lead in love and lead with curiosity. If he's saying, hey, Tiana, XYZ, I can, instead of me getting confrontational, I can just be curious and ask myself internally, is this something that I'm really struggling with? Or, oh, did I forget to do that? Yeah. Instead of me leading with confronting him and being like, well, you didn't do this, I should be curious first and to really think, okay, why is he asking this, or what's making him feel that way? Yeah. And once I learned to switch from being confrontational and being like, well, Myer, you didn't do all these things that you're supposed to do either, to being curious as to why he's asking me about what's on my plate. I think that in itself, once he taught me how to reframe what I was saying and how I was feeling, I was able to actually take on and hear his heart in certain matters.
Yeah, so I guess staying on that same framework of recentering, if you're starting to get disconnected based on your priorities and you're trying to recenter and get back in line, you got to move all the ego and the pride that's in between those two to like get back there. So yeah,
and that's hard to do. And I heard you say like I was quiet at first and I wouldn't say anything so I don't mess anything up. And when you act like that, and I won't say you, but when I acted like that, I thought that I wasn't having any type of action. So I felt like I was leaving it alone, and that was a good thing. But like avoidance is an action. You are choosing not to be a participant in the lines of communication with your partner. So that's a great nugget that you dropped for sure.
And not only that, when you do avoidance, then you're also neglecting your own happiness or something that's not being fulfilled. So it's important to like just go ahead and talk about it. It may not look pretty coming out. You may not say it right the first time, but that's part of navigating, conflict in a marriage.
Yeah.
And so it's going to happen one way or the other,
And confrontation is a type of communication. At least you're talking to your partner, but I like how y'all framed that in the importance of, okay, I do love this person. So if I enter this knowing I'm going to be confrontational, the expectation is that this is not going to be solved, right? So let me go ahead and pause a little bit, give myself some time to collect my thoughts and my ego, put it aside, and let's have a fruitful conversation.
And that's honestly, it can stem and help you in your other relationships. So I normally, when I'm brought with confrontation and conflict, I just like, okay, well, that's just how the relationship is gonna end.
Right.
She used to be like that. She'd be like, I'm good, thanks.
But Myer has challenged me, like, because obviously I can't walk away from my marriage like that. So I've learned how to ask for time to process things. So in my background and how I was raised is like, conflict enters, someone else, an adult, tells me how to handle it, and I just got to deal with it. And that's not always the best process in a marriage. And Myer has helped me in learning that, hey, just tell me or tell that person, hey, I feel this way and I don't want to end this relationship based on that, but I need time to process what has just happened and then I will go back to that relationship. So sometimes in marriage, it helps you not only work through the problems that are going on in your marriage, but it's challenged me to be a better friend and a better daughter and a better sister, because Myer is helping me learn these techniques and I can implement it into my other relationships.
When did you guys like make that shift from avoidance to realizing that it's better to talk about the hard stuff?
Yeah, so I don't want to say you guys. It was just me. Like,
I don't know if that is true.
I think Brittney does a fantastic job of expressing how she feels about things, right? And that's not me being sarcastic or
Okay.
facetious. I'm being real. Like, you really like whether that be on a high level or a low level, she's gonna let me know how she feels about certain things, and I learned from her that that is more effective, even if it does come out dirty and icky and I don't like it, it doesn't make me feel good. At least, like I said, it's a form of communication and she's sharing how she feels about things. I learned that when I continue to avoid, I would start making assumptions about how she felt and why she did the things. And so I wasn't getting the truth. I was integrating what I thought her truth was into my behaviors. And after that, and so it made for a lot of conflict. So I learned just by her, and she never said, Byron, well, actually, she did many times that I need. Many times that I need to express myself, right? And I think a lot of my avoidance stemmed from my childhood, just not being able to have a voice, and because I said so. And so I just learned that maybe if I just suppress how I feel, things will be better. There is no consequence of me not voicing my opinion on things. They just won't know how I feel about it. Well, like you said, Tiana, like I really liked how you said outside of your relationship, you can be someone. But guess what? In your relationship, sometimes that's not effective if you want to stay with that person. So as you were speaking, I was thinking like, you should be special. I'm getting goosebumps, y'all. You should be special for your partner. That means you should be extraordinary for your partner. I think we hear a lot now that they should just love me for who I am. Well, if you love them, then you'll be even better than that person. You'll be
Yes.
even better. So I learned that through our relationship that I've got to be better for her. So even though I avoid conflict sometimes, not all the time, but conflict sometimes outside of our relationship, it's better that I communicate those things with Brittney.
Yes.
And I won't say too, Maya, that there was like a date that I could put on it. But I will say when our children were younger, I feel like there was a ton of avoidance, maybe more so from you, or maybe there was over communication from me. Like I'm more of an over communicator to the point of I didn't even need to mention it. Like, why did you put the bottles in the dishwasher? They don't belong in there. Now they're going to, those type of things, like over communicating the small things. So for me, I had to like learn to take it back. But when the kids were young, it was probably the hardest because you're just so busy and there's so many little things and you're like exhausted and tired and you're already like annoyed for whatever reason. There's no reason to be annoyed, but you just are sometimes.
Yeah.
And so as the kids got older, I think we started recognizing some of those things. And so then we're like, wait a minute, like, let me find who I am again because I think we kind of got lost in the sauce.
For sure.
And now that we're kind of coming out of that, and our kids are 12 and 10 now. So we're in a really good place where they can like, now they just like miniature us and they just talk back and have all kinds of opinions. So we're just a different moment where we can really dive in like how we feel and in our 30s and how we handle things. And that's kind of where we are. I don't know if there's a date on it, but I know we transpired throughout time,
For sure.
That's good. That's good. So there's light at the end of the tunnel, right? The kids turn 12, 10, we can talk and do the thing.
Hopefully sooner, okay? I didn't mean to put a date like
so good to know.
But I mean, and I just learned something from you in that because you said you over communicated things. Literally this morning, Myer was like, we were talking about something, and I'm pointing out what he didn't do. Right, so I'm over communicating, and then I breezed over what he did do. He's like, "Well, did you notice that all of these things?" And because I over communicated these things, I didn't even acknowledge the fact that he took the time to
put the pizza in the Ziploc bag, put it in the refrigerator instead of leaving it out.
You remember it too. It's right there. It's filed away. But
I didn't move the cardboard boxes.
I overlooked the fact that I didn't have to tell him to put the food away. Like he actually did it. He just left the pizza boxes on the counter, and that's fine because it was late at night.
It's the little things, guys. For the ones that are listening, marriage sometimes is the little things. It really is. And it's a good thing because football is the little things, making sure you recognize the little things. they're not always big, but they can put love in people's tanks. So.
Yes, the love tank. We say the love tank in our house too. So I have them titled by my kids' names. And so I'm always like, "Hey, Jude, like I need to fill your love tank." So I love hearing that you guys say the same
Oh
thing.
yeah.
Well, do you want to do the rack and stack?
Let's
You want to
do
talk
it.
about
Are
it?
y'all
You guys
ready?
ready?
Yeah, let's do it. I think
Okay, so for those of you all who have not listened to the episode about rack and stacking and priorities, Brittany and I have an exercise that we like to do every once in a while, but we'll identify 5 different priorities that we have in our life in that particular season. So we'll write down those 5 things, and then we'll go in our own little corners. We'll write down how we rank or rack and stack those 5 priorities, and then we come back and share how we rack and stack them. And then so if there are any differences, we'll talk about why those differences were, and then hopefully come to an agreement. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, on how we feel that priority list should look like. And so what we did do is we charged Myer and Tiana on how. So tell me, that should be like y'all collective name, Myer.
Yeah.
Anyway,
somebody called us Myer Tiana yesterday or something like that. So somebody's putting our names together. I'm like, okay, y'all tell us to have another child and like mix the names. Like, what?
Yeah.
There you go. But we did. We provided them with a list of 5 different priorities, and we asked that they come up with that list on their own. And those 5 things were kids, spouse, self-care, career, and money. So, Myer, Tiana, would you all mind sharing what your individual list looks like?
I'm scared. Like, I want to see if I just
Okay,
say.
I'll
I feel like I'm on Family Feud. So like, this is good.
So for me right now, my priorities are the kids, the spouse, career, self-care, and money.
Okay, you ready for mine?
Career self. Yes.
Okay, I'm writing them down.
Okay. Mine is spouse, kids, money, career, and then self-care.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I should have asked y'all to try to guess what the other ones were, but I will ask you now,
That'll be a
based
nice
on yes, based on the list that they provided, Myer, I guess you can start first. The list that Tiana provided, do you think that that's about right, or what you would have expected her priorities to look like?
Yes, because what I have noticed is that for my wife, the priorities switch, and I can normally see when they shift and change based on like where we are in life. So for her, the reason why I believe she said kid spouse is because of that supported type thing that we do.
Mhm.
We are now moving into the season of the kids going back to school. So
Yeah.
we've been doing homeschool. Some of the kids are going back to school together at a school of our choice. I was finna say the name, but it's a school of our choice.
Yeah.
Right.
So she's getting curriculum together. She's trying to think about lunch boxes and school clothes and filling out all the admin paperwork. And my job right now is, okay, baby, what do you need? Like, do you need me to go grab this in the middle of the night, run to Walmart because you didn't get a chance to knock this out? Do the kids need to have me drop them off to this space so you can go drop the other one off to this place because you need to talk to the teacher? So as I've seen the times change and the seasons change, I recognize that some of those priorities change too. And that's at least that first part is where I recognize that. And then where'd you put money at? Like 4 or 5?
Money's last.
Yeah, so money's last where it's like, so for us, we're almost like really, really old school. Like for me, I go get the bacon and I don't even look at my bank account. I just hand her the money and whatever happens, happens. If I want to go buy a hat or a pair of jeans, I'll go ask my wife, right? She's in charge of the
Not a
administrative
pair
part.
of jeans.
Okay,
So we
maybe
have
not a pair of jeans.
to anything $200 or more.
Basically podcast equipment.
Yes.
I gotta ask first.
There you go.
It's a little more expensive.
Yeah.
But for me, the money portion of basically like how much I'm making sure that it's coming in and all that stuff, that is higher on my list to ensure that it's flowing and that our lifestyle is continuing and that our house is being paid for and things of that nature. So she doesn't have to worry about the pressures of that per se.
Yeah. And you do a great job because money is the least of my worries.
Which is good. Amen.
Thank goodness.
Amen.
But we have a newborn too. So in my head, if I handle the children I'm no stranger, I will let you know if they are overwhelming me or if I need help with something. Like you said, pick up. I learn how to voice what I need. But if the children are taken care of, he's able to do what he needs to do. And you're able to continue to provide for us, and you're doing a great job of that. So much so that it's like money will come and go. If that was our number one priority, it means that the other things that deserve the attention have really moved to the bottom of the list. And I think you do a great job of letting me know, hey babe, what do you need? And I will tell them, hey, do this, and,
She will tell me.
Good. But it's also, I think it's given me enough space to support you in your career. So you transitioned from the military into another role right now, and while that's not what you want to do full time, you've also had the space to start doing your father advocacy, and like you can take speaking engagements, and you can do all those things because I feel like our priorities have shifted, and the rack and stack is not necessarily in alignment, but I feel like once we're out of the newborn phase and once the twins aren't as needy, it'll go back to shifting where we're nope, hey kids, y'all on your own for this. Like you have 2 hours to sleep. You either sleep or you're in your room quietly. But I obviously can't tell a newborn that, right? So it's kind of like as our kids start to get older, it'll shift again. And he does a good job of telling me, hey, look, the kids will be okay. I need this from you.
Yes. You know what I love about both of y'all's rack and stacks is while you were saying them, I was writing them down. And while they're, one could look at them and just not talking to you all at all and be like, oh my gosh, they're totally misaligned.
Right.
But when you hear you say it, you're like, oh my goodness, he focuses on this end. She focuses on this end. And it's all balanced actually.
It's
and you still have each other. Yeah.
This is the first, it's like the yin and the yang. Yeah. So this is the first time, it was fascinating that I agree with the priorities not being the same.
Me too.
Yeah. There's a reason as to why it looks like that. And so, there's truth behind the veil, if you will. So I appreciate y'all explaining that because I'm like, dang, they kind of off a little bit. Why is she putting the kids before him? But it makes total sense as to why that is. And like y'all said, I love how y'all talked about seasons, and it's apparent here, even with your priorities, that priorities will shift based on the season that you're in. And so that's great to hear. Yeah. So I've just learned today this very moment that it's okay for your priorities to not be the same because there's reason behind it.
Yeah.
And it's helpful to have the systems, right? Because you don't necessarily want any of those things to go by the wayside. So somebody should always have their eye on it. So if I got spouse up here and we already have the system of an internal date, external date, that's already in place. So although my wife might not have spouse as number one, I'm the one thinking, okay, I'm going to be scheduling the dates for the external or something like while she's doing the internal. So those never go by the wayside. It's just that she has a different capacity for that area that I'm taking care of. So the value is still the same for all of those, just as the seasons change, the priority change for each one of us and what we're getting done to support each other. So
yeah, I think it's good because instead of both of us, like, could you imagine if we were at one point both going for our careers, right? And we were making the money because we were career focused, we were making money, but then we got kind of distracted because we forgot about the family part. Who's picking up our child or, so sometimes I think it's important that once you made a vision for the family, it's easy to focus on, but just because our priorities are different doesn't mean that it's worse because we're not both looking at the same thing.
Yeah.
Because we were able to, what do you call it? Like we can cover more area.
Cover more ground.
When, we're standing next to each other and he's got his eye on this and I got my eye on this. We do that oftentimes, like at the playground, like, okay, I got numbers 1, 3, and 5. And he knows that you got child 2 and 4.
Yeah.
The idea
zone coverage, guys. Man, zone coverage.
It is.
I was looking for that word.
I realized now that she was talking about football, and I was like, she's trying.
Okay, you see what she did there? She did. She been paying attention, man.
She's been paying attention. Man coverage to zone coverage.
Yeah, and we can get more done that way. Like we don't both have to be focused on this one thing.
Good job, baby.
You said something there, you said, because you said the important part, our vision, we might be looking in different directions, but we are standing next to each other. Yeah. Even like the Charlie's Angels, they are together, but they look in different directions. You know what I mean? Like, hey, y'all come over here, y'all gonna get capped in one of these areas, right? So like you're attacking, but y'all still together, but your focus and your vision is still the same. Just because you're looking in different directions doesn't mean that's untrue. So that's amazing.
I'm not
And
sure
I
if you
liked,
guys
Myer, that you said they're all important. I think that's a piece that sometimes when we do this rack and stack, that people may feel like, well, they're not all important. They actually are all important. They're all pillars of our lives. Now, the only additional one you may add is God, and we kind of don't put that on here because it doesn't fit everyone's family. But that, is another one you can throw in there as well that we do. But,
Yeah,
no, we
absolutely.
definitely throw that in there. And for us, it's like, it's kind of not even on the list because it's a non-negotiable for us.
Yeah, exactly
So it's
right.
like,
exactly.
it's at the top. We
That's
speak to our
amazing.
That's it.
financial
What it
manager, and
is.
he says, "Yeah, I'm looking at you guys stuff, and I was thinking about like your tithing and where that money could go." And it was like, "Yeah, that's not non-negotiable. Like we don't touch that one. Like that's going." He's like, "Oh, okay." So
Right.
now he doesn't even ask because
Right.
Good. That's
like,
amazing.
if we're going to
Yeah.
church, like it's something that we're doing. It's not
Mhm.
really like a negotiable thing. It's like within the tradition, within the routine, and that's what helps us with our priorities and ensuring that we have stuff intact, as well as having our community and good counsel. So
Absolutely. So one of them I think I heard. Can you talk about self-care? Where
I
are
was
they at
going
on
to ask them the
self-care?
same. They
Okay.
both rank self care very low. Myer put it last, and Tiana put it second to last.
Okay, so fourth and fifth. All right, so can y'all kind of talk about why self-care is towards the bottom of your
yeah.
list?
I personally think it's a human psyche thing, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
for a lot of people, we don't recognize how important self-care really is until you get to the bottom. And you're like, somebody asks you, like, have you rested? Have you taken care of yourself? Have you taken time for yourself? And it's something I think both of us are still trying to do a better job at. We have to find a way to like create the system to ensure that we have the space and the capacity to do it. And we use each other as forceful backup for that too, right? It's like, hey babe, I'm starting to feel a little overwhelmed. It's like, well, did you like go do this, or like have you gotten time to do that, or hey, you haven't spoken to so and so. It was like, yeah, you're right. So like for some people it might be kind of corny. You feel like you don't need to put time to read your book in your calendar, or time to go out with friends or call so and so in your calendar. Sometimes you have to do it to make sure that it gets done, that you're taken care of. Right now, for me, that self-care is changing like a lot. For me, like it's in the evening because I'm a night owl. I have to make sure that my notification pops up on my phone to read my book for 5 minutes, to call so and so in the middle of the night because they're always up to it. It's normally my baby brother, and just take time to like breathe and like process and reflect on the day. And then every couple of months, that's when I'll get a chance to maybe go out with the friends. Like in October, my wife already told me I can go, so I'm super excited about it. Daddy for the Social Club is having a retreat. And I'm gonna be going all the way to, I want to say it's like somewhere further than Texas, Oklahoma, out to that. And I won't be there the entire time, but for me, the extroverted person, like I get to go out with the boys and spend time and talk and feel the other part of the tank that she can't really feel. Like she feels my love tank as high as she can. But then I need an oil change every once in a while where I got to get with the boys and say things and fart and I don't know, whatever guys do, right? And just, whatever he thinks that I might do. And talk about football and just other things. So self-care, I think, is extremely important, and we all have to find a way to make sure that we're having that to reduce the stress and the pressures that we're having from the other things on our priority list.
Yeah. And I feel like for me, it's kind of low because I've learned how to ask for what I need. So self-care could be like, hey, babe, I'm going to get my hair done. And I'll just put it in the calendar. Or, hey, I need a fill-in. With self-care is different for so many people that I feel like once I learned how to ask for what I needed, and it could be just a simple, you got the kids on Saturday morning so I can go do XYZ, and it's something for me. Or there was a season of our life where it would just look like, hey, I wanted to be at home and I wanted to enjoy the quiet of my home. And so that meant that he would have all the children and he would take the children somewhere so that I can be at home and enjoy just quiet self-care at home. In some seasons, it's like him calling a masseuse in, like, you don't want to leave the house. All right, you get an in-home massage. Stuff like that is different for everyone. But I feel like because we're kind of low maintenance people, it's easier for us to plan our self-care into the schedule than sometimes it seems like it's getting missed, but it's really not.
Like all I need is a bourbon and a cigar. I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I just need quiet, so I wake up before everybody, and that is enough for me. But there are seasons where we need more,
Yes.
and that's where it's important that, hey, look, this retreat is coming up. He just voiced it. He just sent it to me, and
Yeah,
I
I
was
don't
like,
normally voice. I send it on Instagram. Guys.
go
There
ahead.
you
I was
go.
like, you know, go ahead and go. And like for me, like I'm like, hey, there's a big conference coming up, and I want to go. So once we learn how to communicate that to each other, I think it became easier for us to do self-care.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love that neither of you sound like guilty. I think listening to you all made me feel like, dang, it took me so long to not feel guilty about it. Like I'd leave and I'd be like, I really want to go, but I feel so bad.
Yeah.
And so that's great that you have already moved out of that. You know, I feel like
Yeah.
a lot of people.
I'm still in that.
I'm
So
about to say, I just,
Yeah.
like talk
Because
through
we're
that.
I feel like I'm still because it took a lot for me to ask to go to the conference,
And that's the reason why I don't say it. I just send it. So like, help us kind of get over what, and all of us, I guess, listeners too. Like, what steps could you take to kind of get over like the guiltiness of it all?
yeah, babe.
Oh, yeah.
Tell
So
us.
Byron clearly still
I'm
has a
still
lot
in
of
there.
guilt. I used to have a lot of guilt too. And then I started realizing that I wasn't giving 100% of myself to my family. I found myself being more frustrated. I'm a big Pelotoner. I love riding my Peloton bike. And so I had to do it. I was like, this has to be our priority. So he knows that now. He knows I'm going to go out there. If I can get up early sometimes, but sometimes I can't, depending on the situation in the day. And so just stop feeling, I felt so guilty, but I'm like, I'm doing this for you all because I'm the one who has an attitude. If I don't, I'm upset in my head because that was something I wanted to do. And I realized the more I did something that was for me, the more I came back and actually showed up and was more present versus sitting there with my kids and talking. And the whole time I'm thinking, I wish I could have got on my bike today. I'm like really frustrated with myself. And that's a simple example. I know that probably even sounds a bit selfish, but that's something I really enjoy doing.
How do you, in the moment, how do you keep yourself from feeling guilty that, okay, maybe he's in the house struggling with something and you're like, you know, I'm getting this done no matter what. That's where I'm learning to figure out how. Because it's like, how do you get over the guilt in the moment?
Ooh, I don't know that you can. You know, I think it's just a matter of just doing it. I just have to do it. I know that it's something I have to do for myself. For me, it's a little bit simpler because I'm saying like, yeah, getting my nails done I love doing, but obviously it's not going to make my longevity of life. But working out is a little bit more easy to say I'm just going to go do. So I'm a little bit more, if I can have to cancel a nail appointment, whatever. But when it comes to working out, I know Byron knows that's a priority of mine. And so I don't feel guilty because he's like, hey guys, mom's going to do this in the garage. And what's really helped is my kids come outside. I know that sounds crazy, but they've been, since they were toddlers, they've been in the garage with me working out or like seeing me out there. And I don't feel as guilty if they're like shooting hoops right there and I can see them.
Okay.
I know it's silly, but I just feel like, okay, I didn't leave them. You know?
No, that's good.
That's good. Include them.
Yeah, including it, and then everybody getting used to the routine. I think it's helpful for ours. I think the only routine that we have that's helpful for both of us is like our rest time. So even if they're not necessarily napping, the oldest will come in and he'll get to talking to mommy. I'm like, no, don't forget, look at the time. It's rest time. Everybody's chilling, so you go, you can read your book, you can watch your TV on low. But once you get used to the routine, everybody appreciates it. I think that does. I'm gonna love that you added it. I think that helps.
Yeah. I think another thing too is that sometimes we assign how we would feel on other people. So like because I'm out, I think that she might feel a certain way about it. I mean, I would feel a certain way about it. So I'm also going to feel like she feels a certain way about it. So I think it's just a communication thing. I'm still in the guilty because I just work so much. And then when I'm not working, I'm coaching. If I'm not coaching, I'm on the phone, mentoring, talking to somebody about something or asking for advice. So then finally when I'm at home or I'm doing a project for wifey, right? Around the house, I feel like I need to. It's my responsibility to give her time and my kids time. And so when I do etch in some self-care time, I do feel guilty because my honey-do list is long. It's so long, right? And there's so many things I want to do for my family that if I'm not doing those things, I feel really, really bad. And you talk about retreat, like my family's doing a men's retreat, if you will, on Labor Day, and I'm still like struggling with whether or not I should go because I was gone half of the summer already for work. So I missed a lot of summer with my family. Now we have a 4-day weekend that we can spend time with each other. But now I have, my uncles and my cousins, all men who want to go to Colorado and spend time with one another, which, like you're saying, I can get a nice oil change, but is my tank full? Am I filling their tank, right? So it's a lot of conflict sometimes that comes about too. So we still struggle with that piece, and I think that's why we ask that question. We always incorporate self care on that because we do have to identify that it is extremely important that you take care of yourself, but it's hard to do. It's so hard to do, and it's a challenge. But I think it starts with communicating with your partner. Hey, this is what I would like to do. How will that impact our family's vision? Is it in line with what we have as a family? Because we had talked about this a few weeks ago. I know I'm rambling, but this is good stuff. Like a few weeks ago, about not allowing external things to influence what our vision is for ourselves. So sometimes if I want to go do something or she wants to go do something, we have to think about, okay, but is that in line with what we want to be and do as a family? So it's hard. It really is, but it is important.
I don't think, what I do also, I was thinking when you were speaking, is I think about my own parents. They weren't near as present as we are with our children, like not even close.
Yeah.
And I still think they did a decent job. Like I turned out okay. So I'm like, hopefully our kids still turn out okay. Like we're way in their face more than my mom was in my face. So,
For sure.
I think what we've learned to do is one, planning is huge.
Yeah.
So in us preparing for him going on a retreat, what he'll do is he'll take the kids to do something individually. Like he'll do something with our oldest, and then he'll spend some time with the baby, or he'll like make sure that I'm set up with the baby so in advance, so that when he's gone, or I know I do that for sure. Yeah. But when you're gone, it's like when the guilt starts to try and set in a little bit, it's like, hey, well, I did this with this person, this with I've given each person their individual time, so that while I'm gone and the guilt tries to creep in, it's like, no, they're fine.
This is
earned, good,
deserved, and planned,
and needed. Yeah,
and needed. Yes.
That's good.
Man, thank you guys for sharing your rack and stack. I know that probably was a lot to have to share and air it out here, but we appreciate it. That was good.
But what y'all shared was just so inspiring. I mean, again, like the purpose of our platform is just to ensure that others know that they're not the only ones going through these times of conflict and concern and disagreement. And it's okay to have disagreement within your relationship. But as you all stated, the importance of recentering, right? And coming together and talking about those visions and how we need to come together to figure out how we're going to continue executing our visions for our relationships is important.
Definitely. And we all have to take from this internal dating and external dates. Okay. Yeah. That's what I've learned today.
Yeah. So, but thank y'all again so much. Are there any parting words y'all want to share with the community?
Everybody talks about marriage being hard versus marriage being easy. Of course, a lot of people who are married know how worth it, no matter it is being easy or hard it is. I would just say for any of those who intend to get married, who are feeling the conflict, the struggle, and the challenge of marriage is get the people around you. Like find another couple, either in your church, your friends, people that you trust, older, no matter if they're peer, find someone. It would be great if it's more than one or different couples in different seasons of their life or marriage. But there's sometimes blind spots that we have that we don't know we have. That need to be accounted for, that need to be talked about, that need to become from the darkness and into the light. And maybe your spouse has been the one trying to get you to see it, but because they're your spouse and they're with you all the time, you get defensive. You don't really get to the curiosity part. But when you have someone who cares and loves you as much as your spouse as much as you love them, it is very helpful to have them point out those blind spots and really help be the iron sharpened iron that you need in your life. So that would be my 2 cents to anybody listening.
And I think my last takeaway is, one, I'm grateful that you all have this platform that you've created. And I did a little reflecting on dirty laundry. Like, it's okay to have dirty laundry. And in our marriage, it's okay to have things that we need to work through. One, dirty laundry shows that somebody had fun, right? And that life is being lived. Laundry tells you that, hey, it's a cycle. That sometimes it's clean, sometimes it has stains, sometimes it's dirty, and sometimes it needs a deep soak. And that's what marriage is. Like it's a cycle of goods and bads. Sometimes we have stains. Sometimes we need to be rebalanced in our laundry machine. So just I'm grateful that the power of the name of your podcast, Dirty Laundry, it's not always clean. Sometimes it gets dirty, and you don't always have to throw it away.
Yeah.
Woo! Come on now.
I know, right? That's the introduction to our podcast.
There it
from
is.
here
We're
on
just
out.
going to clip those 37 seconds, just put it right there in the beginning. Yeah.
Yes, that was beautifully said.
Thank y'all so much again. And thank you to all of our listeners, too. We just appreciate all of your support. Please, if y'all don't mind, tune in to Here for the Dads podcast. And, you know, it's a great, again, platform for those fathers and even spouses, right, that want to learn a little bit more about fatherhood and the importance of such. Please tune into that as well. But again, thank y'all so much for tuning in. We have so much more in store. And with that being said, be blessed, be you, just be. We out.
I'm blessed to be me. Blessed to be me.